The Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast, and here is your host, Elliot J. O'Neill. Alright, and we are rolling. Welcome to episode 7 of The Simpsons Index. I am your podcast host, Elliot J. O'Neill, and joining me this week is...
Hi, everybody.
Dr. Nick and...
I'm Asa Phelps.
Asa Phelps, good to have you guys. We are about to watch another 2 episodes of The Simpsons, but first we watched 1 episode of The Simpsons.
Way to introduce.
Thank you.
Dude.
Shag.
Dude.
You picked the first episode that we watched today. Do you know the episode title off the top of your head?
Oh god, it is season 7, episode 22, Raging Abe Simpson and the Curse of the Flying Hellfish.
Something like that.
Is that
Pretty close.
I just played one second
Raging Abe Simpson and his grumbling grandson in the Curse of the Flying Hellfish.
Now that's a title.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to abbreviate that when I do the index.
You gotta apostrophize that. R-A-S and... Oh, Christ.
So what did you guys think of the episode?
Dude, I'm just stunned. It is...
Yeah.
Like, we haven't even gotten to the end game yet, but I'm just like, wow, give all the money to this shelf. Top shelf. Make a new shelf above your top shelf for this episode.
Maybe an actual diamond rank.
No, never. References are the highest value.
Well, the paintings. Yeah, a box of stolen German art.
That's like your 6-star rating.
So, Chad, give us a brief synopsis of the episode that you picked for us today.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was just beautiful. You all know the one. I don't have to spell it out, but it's the one where...
What is it? Barely you do. That's what synopsis is.
Yeah, okay. Because someone out there listening to us might never have heard of The Simpsons before. This is the one where Abe Simpson turns out to have been part of a leader of a squadron back in World War II with Burnsie, and they enter into a tank tin where the last man standing gets all the paintings, and just when it's down to the last 2 of them, Burns tries to kill Abe. Abe and Bart go
adventuring.
Yeah, hella questy, and shit gets real intense.
They get Johnny Quest on this shit.
And with hilarious results.
Hey.
Absolutely. And, for our first episode, we watched Barthood, and the thing I loved about that for a new episode especially was highlighting the relationship between Bart and Grandpa, which isn't one we see often.
Yeah.
And this episode just had it in spades. And, it's set up, like, again, this was one that was just sole A plot, no B plot. It set it up well with Grandpa embarrassing Bart at school, and Bart, being, you guys
Grandpa can't see me nodding, but I'm nodding here.
We're all nodding.
Oh, yeah. Actually, in podcast, when you are nodding, you just generally say nod. Oh, nod. Yeah.
We're going to do that. Good luck editing around going, nod.
And, yeah, I think they really set up Bart and Grandpa coming together at the exact right time when...
Nod.
There's another episode that has a lot of Grandpa. I was just thinking about that. The Bart and Grandpa thing would be the season 1, maybe season 2, the water balloon war.
Season 1, yeah. Yeah, and it's a cool relationship. And especially, you start to realize that Grandpa isn't an old kook, and all this shit is actually happening to him, and there is an assassin that's out to kill him. And
this one time.
Yeah, I'd still say he
time.
is an old kook. I mean, invented the turlet, sent dogs and cats against each other.
Put an onion on his belt. It was the style at the time.
And replacing the word 20 with dickety.
Hey, the Kaiser stole it.
Those guys stole their word 20.
Yeah.
But...
don't blame the victim.
Yeah, anyway, I think... the story really unfolded, their relationship... I think this episode really got to... what am I trying to say?
You can do it, man. Come on.
I believe in you.
You're talking about the heart of the episode between Grandpa and Bart, the relationship and the beauty of it.
Bart turns around and comes together at the exact right moment in this episode, and the emotions that it took to get there were earned. I mean,
it's a good point,
the emotions that we
like,
got to were owned.
Bart is... It's not very often that Bart is an emotional or empathetic sort of character. Someone that can connect with other main characters in the show. And they didn't just have him as a sappy kid the whole time. There's a few episodes that do that, and they're usually bad episodes because it doesn't feel like Bart Simpson.
Yep.
But him starting off negative to the character and slowly earning not just trust, but ending up in love. I'm using the L word here. I'm dropping an L bomb.
He does say it at the end.
He does, and it feels earned. You know?
This is one that has your character arc set and your 3 stages before each ad break perfectly. It's just one of those flawlessly scripted episodes.
Arc is exactly the word.
You've got the arc of Abe learning to basically not even be a crotchety old kook anymore. He has that moment of
finds his courage
why
again,
are we
doesn't
even
he?
doing this? It's not worth it. Burn's gonna win anyway.
Yeah.
And Bart has that moment of no. The sergeant you told me about in that story would never just give up. Is that what you've become, Abe?
I believe in you, Dad. Grand,
Pappy.
Dad, Pappy.
Papow.
And also that it was like him and Bart's little, it was Grandpa and Bart's little secret thing as well. Like, that the family can still think he's a
feature
kook.
in this one as well.
Yeah,
It's
I think
good
Homer's pretty much only there for that.
That's a solid point.
Pass.
I mean, it means that in the overall scheme of things, in context to all the characters, he still can be the old kook. Kind of weird the way you called it their little secret. But let's not delve into that too much.
That's really not.
Well, yeah, it's a moment of bonding that wasn't covered in Barthood. And damn it, what was the one Homer line in this that
Oh, man.
we all
The
relate
treasure hunt, can I come with you? Only if you're ready to test your manhood. Put yourself in the limit. Pass.
Yeah. Oh, we've all been there.
I live there. I have a summer home there.
All right. Yeah, anything more to say on the general vibe of this episode?
Such an open question. I mean, I could rave about this one for a while.
Yeah, because it's a great adventure in of itself. I mean, it's still Simpsons, still funny, but it's, it's the big grand adventure, the treasure hunt.
Yeah.
This is what I desperately want for my own will.
Oh my God, man!
Like I need to find a lawyer
the
who
12
can set up.
keys and the rotating statue and the floodlight on the ocean.
I need to find a lawyer who's gonna put that shit together for me.
Man, I am so on board.
I know, I can't wait
my
to
God.
die.
A lawyer / puzzle engineer.
Yeah. Look, I can come up with puzzles. That's fine. I'll write it. I just need someone to enact it.
Wow, more funerals need like Zelda dungeons.
Fucking yes. Holy shit.
This is amazing. I mean, this is amazing. Quick,
I
stop the
want that
podcast. We need to
bell.
go build dungeons.
I know. Can you imagine the one where he's sitting around, he's like, and now we bury Tom Smith. He was a good man. He was a kind man. He buried a treasure at the end of this dungeon. Let's go. Oh my God.
Yes.
His last will and testament only reads, guys, it's a dungeon crawl.
This is beautiful.
One of the other things I really like about this episode is that they bring in fathers of the characters, and it's sort of shoehorny because of the jokes, but it's one of the times where it works, where they try and do a bit of retroactive writing.
Yeah, where the fathers are the same characters as what the sons are.
Yeah,
But it's just,
And those characters aren't mentioned before or after, so you can get away with it.
I think that's why it works. Is
Elliot mentioned that there's a line where 4 of them get killed in a great fire, which means that all the ones that are the fathers, because of who's left. I mean, Ox and Thingamajig get killed off early, and Aisha, which means all that's really left to die in the fire are the 4 character fathers.
Yeah.
So Wiggum's dad and Skinner's dad and Barney's dad and someone else.
And Griff, probably.
Yep.
Yeah, because Ox died from getting a hernia carrying the box out of the... Oh, poor Ox.
Yep.
So there's some unspoken major catastrophe fire in the Simpsons history in '78 where everyone's dads have died.
Yeah, 4
In the
known
Veterans
fathers.
Day parade accident.
Yeah, apparently this is pretty canon and just unmentioned.
Yep. That's the way it
Well, I
goes.
mean, probably hard for Skinner, Wiggum, and Yeah. to bring it up.
Yeah. You mean Armin Tanzarian?
Ah, yeah, of course.
Ooh, solid point.
Yeah, that's-
Tanzarian versus Skinner.
That's a deep pit. I don't think we have time to dig into. I mean, we can, of course.
I'd prefer not to. Let's move on.
We will on next week's episode. Yeah, it's about time for the questionnaire. Actually, just quickly, I was
Question 1.
thinking that
Whose butt looked best in those pants?
my butt.
Young Monty
So-
Burns by a landslide.
The assassin. Those scenes were pretty brutal, and then it, like when it gets excessive, like that's when the jokes start really coming in that part.
Oh, the gunfight in the nursing home
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
nun with the shotgun.
are trying to nap.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Excellent.
Well, it's a society that is obsessed and very casual about violence.
Yeah, he really used comedy to take away the shock value of the action sequence. I see what you're saying. It really sort of used action to offset the comedy, and then it had a sort of counterbalance to it.
Yep.
That was very clever. It was very clever pacing.
And it's as delicate as a well-played game of chess.
Sort of used action as the setup for a comedic punchline.
Absolutely. And yeah, production values, like considering this is a pretty early Simpsons as well, like, oh, it looked great.
Dude, there's 7 seasons behind it. 7 years
Yeah,
of
they've
of
already become the
experience.
biggest thing on TV by this point. So they have all the money.
I don't know, did many people hear about The Simpsons in the late 90s? I'm not sure.
I looked up Marion Barry on Wikipedia.
Oh, is that actually a person?
Of course it is.
Who is
when Monty says MB to the assassin,
yeah.
and he goes, Marion Barry, it must be time for another shipment. We're Australian and too young to really know that in the early 1990s, Marion Barry was a mayor in the US, in Colombia, who got jailed for drug smuggling in, in South America. Surprise, surprise, surprisingly relevant. So,
Question
and
is,
we're back.
do either of you remember watching this back in the day?
Not specifically.
Dude, so many times.
But
Yeah.
Oh, this one's just like, taste of my childhood. I can almost feel the glow from the electric gas heater next to my face when I'm sitting way too close to the TV, aged, I don't even know, 9, 17? Hard to tell at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, about then. Yeah, I think we would have been about 10, 11-ish. I don't know.
Man, I'm still stunned that Bart's in the 4th grade. I mean, for how mature his sense of comedy is, how mature the lessons are in 4th grade, they learn about ancient history and civil liberty and all sorts. This doesn't feel right to me, man. It's going to take me months to get over this.
Yep. Oh, that was it. When he says, they took a photo of my keister for Stars and Stripes.
Yes, I think it was for Stars and Stripes.
Yeah. If you don't know, Stars and Stripes is like a military magazine they distribute during wartime.
Yeah, but back in the day, I didn't
It's
get
a
that.
porny
That was
mag joke.
Yeah, that was a nudie mag joke. Beej, is this an episode you've revisited?
Every time it's on.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
How could you turn this off,
I know,
man?
it's like, even just watching that, I'm surprised how quick it went by. It was just like, bang, 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 bang. So many things, one after another. Flows so quickly. Like I said, it doesn't even need a B story because the A is so strong.
Yeah, the pacing's
And it
just so tight.
I know, it's quick, bam, everything is great, and you love every second of it.
So yeah, do you see yourself watching this episode again, guys? I know I do.
You wanna watch it
Man,
again?
I do. I can't wait.
We were halfway through, and I think you said, let's just watch it three
times.
times.
Yeah.
Review it 3 times over.
I think it's just going to get better as well. Maybe our jokes will be tighter the second time around.
Yeah, sure. Practice does make
We know who
perfect.
Marion or whatever her name is now, so we'll get
Yes.
that. We can laugh at that one.
So yeah, that part will come on and we'll all be like,
I get it.
we
I get
that.
it. Yeah. All
Do you
looking
get
at
it?
each other, smiling.
I'm laughing because I get it. So yeah, I think it goes without saying that we recommend this to anyone and everyone.
Yeah, it
Not a
doesn't-
great entry point episode because maybe, I don't know.
You want a bit more Grandpa Coop being an old.
Well,
coot.
it doesn't really feature any of the main characters. I mean, it's got Bart and Burns and Grandpa,
Yeah.
but none of them are in their characters' roles particularly. Bart's not much of a prankster or an anti-authoritarian or chaotic sort of kid. Grandpa's not a crazy kook, and Montgomery.
Burns is like, he's not the dominating, greedy figure that he.
Yeah,
is.
he's still sort of evil and selfish, but he's not the evil capitalist.
You
that-
want to know who he is first.
Yeah, you need to see him do the Rosebud bit or release the hounds. He needs to release the hounds with
Yeah.
the bees, then they bark, they
Yeah.
shoot bees at you or something.
Yep.
Yeah, it's almost like they're taking 3 established characters and just doing a treasure hunt story with them.
Yeah, it's a
You
breakaway
got,
episode.
A protagonist, an antagonist, and a sidekicks for each of them.
Yeah, they do each get their side. Oh man, how good was the Flanders bit?
What you doing? Stealing my vote?
We're having a camp out in the dinghy.
Yay!
This Flanders so perfectly summed up, right? Stealing my boat. Here, have the keys. Have the keys. Kids, everyone get out of the boat. This young man's stealing it.
Yeah. Were there any jokes that you guys only just noticed on this viewing? I guess we went over Stars and Stripes already, and we just learned about Marion Barry.
Barry.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like we have to research Goldie Hawn a bit more, but
Yeah,
I
think it was
assume they
just
got
an
locked
odd
up at
joke.
some point. It's a joke about people getting locked up in their old age. I don't know. I'm sure everyone listening to it gets it and is laughing at me, not laughing at the joke.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I can laugh at myself. It's the little things. I think all the big jokes really stand out so much. Like, there's parts that I just appreciate again and again. The little details, like when Abe was putting his legs up on the table and you can hear the crack of the knees, he lifts one leg up, and such little bits, right? Or the way that he keeps soaring at the thing after Ned drops the keys down. Damn, that was tight. It was just like,
pull the
wow.
rope 63 times if you've run out of
Oh
air,
my
or 64
God.
if you...
Yeah, that's. I remember as a kid, like, just freaking out at how stupid that was. I was just like, what the fuck are you doing, man? This is stupid. Don't do this. This is stupid. It was an unforgivable thing when I was a child.
It is still unforgivable, but unforgivably hilarious.
Yeah, I know, right?
So it was a bit of a wacky episode, but
it was slightly wacky.
Yeah, well, out of character, but still within. It's yeah.
Oh yeah.
As for jokes I didn't notice, what really strikes me isn't that I miss jokes. It's that sort of like, just how tight the pacing is. All the space between jokes are sub jokes or little jokes of it. There's not a soft moment.
Yeah.
Everything's a little gag hidden in between the big
Even when they're
gags.
explaining, like, the tontine, it's like, damn it, Simpson, can't you go 5 minutes without embarrassing yourself? Boing.
Oh, I know, right? And then as he's driving off, there's the second boing in the background.
yeah.
Perfect. Like, not a moment where you're not got something hilarious happening.
But speaking of the pants flying off from the suspenders and the polka dot boxer shorts with the boing sound effect.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a bit of a wacky episode,
which I like to think is a pre-reference to I'm sorry, Mum, but I almost always ruin the moment. The seagull lands and drops fish in his pants.
Aw, the heritage. But yeah, the wackiness was offset by the amount of heart this episode had.
Has a perfect balance, yeah.
Which it didn't get into the heart until sort of halfway through, once Bart joins up with Grandpa.
Once he knows it's real, yeah.
Yeah, once he knows it's real and they want to set out on an adventure together. But yeah, then the heart comes together at the end so well. Oh, I don't know. I don't care who knows I love my grandpa.
Yeah, but then you get that one last joke.
Which was edited, which was censored for Australian audiences.
I don't think it was censored. I think it was cut because they wanted to put more ads
that
in.
German Baron. Wasn't he such a punchable character?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I suppose he deserved it more than I did.
Although he does like craft work. I would still punch the guy. So much.
He's easily on the cover of Punchable Face Monthly.
So, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons? Start with you, Shag. Start with you, Beach.
It felt like an episode of The Simpsons.
Oh, I'm going to have to edit out you guys eating.
Yeah, live with it. It feels like an episode of The Simpsons, but doing something very Simpsons-ly, but they're doing it in a Simpsons way.
Yeah.
So it's the adventure story, it's the, Indiana Jones, Johnny Quest kind of deal. But they're still doing it very Simpsons-esque, and that's what works so damn well.
Hardy Brothers. It really felt Hardy Brothers-y to me,
Well, they're all about smugglers. This wasn't about smugglers.
Yeah, it was. They totally smuggled paintings out of Germany. And they had to dig them up from the cove. It'd be like Hardy Brothers in the case of the Pirate Cove or something.
But all the characters were still on point, though. They were themselves. They weren't doing anything out of character.
Definitely.
Exactly. We had a more competent grandpa, but that's about the only change. And then, given his heritage, it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other quotable moments you guys can think of?
29 and a half minutes of it.
Yeah, the whole thing's a damn quotable moment.
Pretty much. So much so I'm struggling to think of them.
Spent 3 years on that turlet.
Enjoy them, old man. They will be your last. Go to sleep, little girl.
Oh, that moment. One of the very rare times where Maggie talks. And
I thought
Wait,
it was
what?
Lisa.
That's Lisa. Why the fuck would you think that was Maggie? Who constructed an entire sentence about Santa?
she just says
She
Santa.
just says Santa.
Okay, I realize it's the word.
That is
entire
still a
sentence wrong.
complete sentence. That's Santa question mark.
Yeah.
No, that's got to be Maggie.
That is so
No
Lisa.
way.
We know
Lisa.
Bart's and Lisa's room are next to each other.
All right, we're going to do some
Especially
internet
from
research
the headboard
between...
of Bart's bedroom because he kicks the wall to annoy her.
Oh, yeah, but...
Wow, that is oddly specific.
That's not bad, but, like, the canon of The Simpsons house wasn't settled until, like, season 10. Like,
Come on, man.
Well, the canon wasn't said.
It's like, yeah, for real. I mean, the math checks out saying Lisa's room is next to him, and then you're like, well, yeah, but technically it could be someone else.
I mean, how would it be
I always
Maggie?
thought it was Maggie.
How would it be Maggie who knows who Santa is and yet mistakes him?
Because it was delivered in such a baby way.
No, it wasn't. Go back.
Totally
Go back.
Lisa. It's totally Lisa.
All right. Well, we'll argue about
first
this.
controversy we've really come across.
All right. Friendship's divided.
A house divided, man.
He's just gonna edit out our opinions.
Yeah.
But this is the trouble.
Welcome back to the Mary Sue podcast. I'm your host.
Oh, zing.
And you agree with me, everybody, right?
And they're just you in different voices, right?
Yes. I agree. Concur.
God, that sounds just like me.
All right, let's rank this episode. Shag, kick us off. You picked it. What are you giving it?
Oh, what's the one below failure? Cubic zirconia. Oh, man, this is the best thing I've ever seen. I feel sad that I missed out on you guys doing the cat burglar one because you guys came off so excited.
No, that was
riding
the demo.
high.
We've got to redo that.
We were way too drunk, so we do have to do it again.
So excited. Let's get way too drunk and do it again. Man. But yeah, look, this just I was stunned at how tight and funny and cohesive. Oh, and tight and also funny. Man, this was amazing.
Yep.
Top shelf, cubic zirconia. I wish we had a real diamond rating because despite the gag, it feels like I'm giving it a fake prize. But man,
It's a reference.
I know.
And it's worth it. How about you, Beach?
Yeah, well, zirconia all the way. I mean, it's flawless. There's no point we
Yeah.
can say this needs to be better or this part
needs
lags.
fixing.
It's so,
This isn't funny.
Yeah, it's fluid and funny, and you get the adventure. You get everything.
Studio audience, I dare you to write in and tell me which joke doesn't land. I will be. I mean,
Yeah.
Marion Barry. Here we are in 2016, not really knowing who he is, but
Well, because it
It's
comes
still a
off
good
as
gag.
yeah, it's an old crotchety man reference, and that's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, for real.
You know, we don't have to get it directly to get that these just another thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I've got no shame about giving this a cubic zirconia myself. Yeah, I think story, wackiness, heart, jokes, integrity, everything's in balance here, and it's firing on all cylinders. Yeah, Homer, Lisa, Marge may as well have not been in this episode. They only have a few lines each, but it doesn't
But it's
matter.
enough. It supports it.
Oh, I picked this episode, by the way, guys. So all props to me for.
Okay, clearly.
it's not-
yeah.
I mean, I might as well have written it
Yeah.
for all the work I did.
Not Jonathan
reflecting-
Collier at all.
Written, directed, and did all the voice acting for. Pretty much, for what it's worth.
Damn impressive.
So you're welcome.
All right, well, yeah, that's a unanimous cubic zirconia. It's about time to move on to the next episode. Beej, what episode did you pick for
What
us?
have you got for me, man?
We are doing
Top
Weekend
this.
at Burnsies, I
Woohoo!
believe.
Yes.
All right, well,
Oh,
I'm gonna,
yes.
The
I'm
one that was nearly banned.
Well, I'm going to get a little stoned for this one, so we will come back.
Beach. Shots.
Shots.
Shots?
Nod. Nod.
Nod.
This
Yeah.
was season 13, episode 16, Weekend at Burnsies, as chosen by Beej.
Sup.
Guys, what'd you think?
It's a laugh and a half.
So laughy, so many jokes, and
Yeah.
so many quotable moments.
I gotta say, it was hilarious. It was more hilarious than it should have been. But wow.
Yes, because as you were saying, in the first act, it was just, the story was, and then. Like, you were covering it the other week, Beach, when you were saying stories should be told, and then this happens, and therefore, because, and
Yeah.
it shouldn't be, and then.
And then,
story.
yeah, that's, I mean, maybe the biggest drawback to this one structurally is at the beginning it's very rush, get to the point as quickly as possible, so you skip so much, you just bam, 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 bam. And then it's like, okay, and now
There
we're
were
in the
like
story.
5 different reasons why Homer ended up smoking pot.
Yeah, and then that is like gear shift down. Okay, we can step out of.
And the second act really
go back.
slowed down the story pace and then ramped up
real.
the joke pace. And then the third act was really sort of slow on both, actually.
It was strange. Yeah, let's see if I can work through it backwards. Homer smoking pot because he had surgery on his eyes. He got stitches on his eyes because he was friends with a gang of crows and he kicked them out.
Murder.
Murder crows. He kicked out the murder crows because the crows liked him because he killed the baseball, the scarecrow, killed the scarecrow
Yep.
because Marge decided to farm her own vegetables because she hang on.
Genetically modified food.
She bought GM
She
foods
didn't like
that were
GM
eating
foods that were eating each other's.
So made her so her potato ate a carrot.
And there was before that as well, wasn't there?
No, that was the
Oh,
start.
dinner's up, everybody. Yeah, we're eating GM foods. Oh, they're eating each other. Oh,
Man.
Now we're
I
gonna
better
need a
farm my
scarecrow.
own vegetables. Oh, I need a scarecrow. and-
Yep.
Oh, I need
Time
a
to kill
scarecrow.
I'll regroup
Homer
at Lead
kills
Lobster.
Scarecrow.
becomes the Alpha Crow.
Man, regroup with her. The thing is, despite I'm not telling you, Beach. I'm telling the audience. But the thing is, Beach, I'm telling you now. The thing, Beach, is that despite the terrible pacing and the 35 ideas used to get to one single plot point, that Homer's going to smoke dope now.
Yep.
The script was hilarious.
The jokes along the way is
the whole
fantastic.
time.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it doesn't work like that with a cartoon, but it's like the writing and the directing were done by two different people. You know, the scene jumps and things.
No,
terrible.
I think it was one of those things where they had to do that kind of really fast-paced, skip through a bunch of shit at the beginning, just because this is an episode that starts with a short intro sequence. They cut the full opening sequence because they need that much. Even then, they don't have enough time for a full proper first act.
This could have started with smash Homer accident.
True.
Now Homer in surgery. Now Homer smokes pot. Done.
A lot of reasons to have, but instead we went the long-winded route of crows.
Yeah, and in fact, like GM Foods means start my own farm rather than buy organic for one thing. But start my own farm means now I'm gonna have a big scene about me building a scarecrow. That was like click, 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 click.
But they did that in a funny way as well, and did like the popcorn reference.
It was really funny.
The pop-up video bit. Yeah.
It was really funny, but it was 5 things that didn't need to happen for the story.
Much more cohesively, much smoother than what we've got. Yeah, I would agree with that. It was still funny. Got a lot of, maybe that's why it happened, because they were like, man, we love the jokes here. There are quick ways to do this.
This is really funny,
like,
but it's a bad story. But it's really funny.
Yeah. So maybe they went, you know what? Let's just stick with the comedy of it instead of worrying about.
Yeah.
And the comedy of it is where this episode absolutely shines.
Picks up more than anything.
Through, man.
I was just gonna say, like, this episode is indicative of what was happening at the time, where Family Guy was just starting to get momentum, and also Simpsons episodes were cut down to about from 23 minutes to about 20 or 21 minutes to make room for more. To make room for more commercials. And it's actually weird because it's got a 4-act structure where the actual scene of the puppeting Burnsie at the end is actually a 4th mini act at the end, and
it feels like
that was just
an
indicative
extra
of television at the time, which is a shame because it does fuck with the pacing of.
It was really strange, but I was just thinking, what are the 4 acts then? The first act is
the super jumpy, and
setting up the pot. Why
The
is he
second
smoking
act is
pot?
the complication.
Second act, he's smoking pot.
Third act, the bill passes and he can't have pot anymore, so he's getting off it. Yet he's got this new job
as the executive VP
yeah.
who has to laugh at stuff, but he can't laugh without weed.
Yeah.
Was there an act there? That third act
It is very soft in the terms act and where one ends and one
I
starts.
couldn't tell you what happened in it. Like, what happened in that act? We can cut this in post, by the way. I'm just talking.
No, that
is literally all we do.
that third act, the second act ended with the Fish concert, and they voted and we lost. It was a pretty long second.
They voted, we lost, then they burn all the pot, or is they burn all the pot start of Act 3?
I would say burn up on start of Act
3, and Homer's getting used to his new life off pot. The third act ends when Burns drowns in the tub.
It's arguably that's the start of a second, third act. Yeah, which is
but
it's
again,
like a hiccup.
But again, the pacing was weird because of television at the time.
Yeah, no, like the pacing is weird, and I can see that the drowning in the tub bit is the start of a new act, but that means that Act 3 doesn't have anything happen in it. You know,
it's a bridge, basically.
It's like stuttering the start of Act 3 twice. You know, it's like
Pretty
Act 3
much.
still going. But
Well, look, without getting the
right
rankings,
either.
it's probably what the third act actually brought this episode down for me. It was such a buzzkill, man.
Well, that's the thing. It's funny, but it's just so nonsensical. But I still love just all of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
This bird's dancing as a puppet is hilarious. It's ridiculous.
It's horrifying, but no, it is ultimately funny. But
Also,
oh my god,
by this point, he's been dead for 20 minutes.
Yeah, shit, man. Like, how long has that guy been brain dead? And they did nothing. How long did it take them to organize the? I suppose the event was pre-organized, but like drive out there and everyone comes and sits, and then like the intro guy comes out and says, "Our next speaker will be Mr. Montgomery Burns."
He's been legally dead for at least half an hour, and even 5 minutes is a bad idea.
And Smithers, for how Smithersy he usually is, wasn't that Smithersy when Mr. Burns died?
Yeah, he's usually why do the good always die so young?
Yeah, he should be inconsolable, and he was like, "No, we've got to make this meeting happen, and I'm going to use my boss
You know
as a
what?
puppet."
Maybe
now.
he was still pissed about having his stem cells stolen.
Oh man!
So yeah, let's just shoot through some
quotes. There's too many. There's too many.
Well, no, I want to do the questionnaire, but I'm going to put the quotable moments now. Let's just shoot through them.
Oh, my
Remember that time I dropped the phone? Sorry.
Dropped my keys and you thought the phone was ringing?
Yep, there we go. We have a kitchen.
Still one of my favorites.
Hey, this ain't a crowbar.
This is a crowbar. See, they got little stools. And
What was the bit that Burns said? He was in the office and.
At least someone's negligee.
Louise Brooks, who I googled, and yeah.
Look good in negligee.
It's a very, very revealing negligee.
Oh. I hope our IPO isn't an IPU.
And then I hold my nose thusly. Smithers, I need someone who laughs at all my jokes. Honest feedback.
Oh yeah, that was great.
So many great Burns
Oh,
lines.
you're a happy Homer.
You just said it, man.
And Shemp his hemp backwards.
Backwards.
Man.
Now I'm scared.
My doctor never told me. I had to hear it from fish.
Would you like the wizard or the skull?
Wall to wall. That's what's great about this one. Cameron Crowe, Russell Crowe, Gregory Peck.
Crow Diddley. Yeah. Like, again, as quick, fast-paced as that first act is, the jokes justify each scene.
Yeah, that's it's one where the jokes justify the kind of shitty pacing.
Yeah. Do you guys remember watching this one back in the day?
Oh, man. Yeah. This was, because it was one of those ones that nearly didn't get aired, or at least that's what Channel 10 told us.
Yeah.
But I remember watching it at
it
the
was
time.
put on late night.
And we were big fans of its source material at the time. So this felt a little more poignant to us. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Jag, do you remember watching this back in the day, or?
Wow. I mean, hang on. I don't remember anything, man.
Whoa, one at a time. Okay, you first.
Shag's not here, man.
I actually do remember watching this back in the day, and yeah, as you said, Channel 10 was saying, "Oh, this one almost didn't air. They had to."
It's the episode that nearly went up in smoke.
Oh.
Yeah, that was literally the pitch line. I remember it.
Around the time this actually started, Channel 10 doing Simpsons Up Late, where they re-aired some of the they re-aired the more controversial episodes that they often took out of the 6 o'clock syndication.
Wow, really?
So, episodes like the Grandpa's Sex Tonic and Homer and Marge having fucking in public, and there were a couple of but yeah, they started doing Simpsons Up Late, and this is the one that kicked it off. So it was a bit of an event, and
it was a bit, but I mean, there weren't as many. They also did the
Sex in Public,
the Seinfeld Black Label
golf
collection
course.
as well.
Yeah. No, they get into fucking in public, and then
what?
And one of the last scenes is like Homer being dragged naked across a church glass roof, holding.
Everyone, look at
blimp.
God's glorious sky. Look at the floor. Look at God's glorious floor.
I do remember that scene.
Great episode. Sorry, what were you saying, Beach?
I was saying they also tried to pitch the Seinfeld Black Label collection.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Which is all the more the contest,
risque ones. Oh, the contest. Yeah.
And wait, you saw her topless? Well, how good of a look did you get? Well, if you had to describe it to a police sketch artist, they'd find about 5 minutes. But that's for the Seinfeld Index.
Oh, I'd love to do that as well.
One series at a time.
One series. Yeah, let's start with the show that's got 600 episodes.
It'd still be TSI, though.
Pardon?
It'd still be TSI.
Oh, that's right.
So you could slip them in there.
Yeah.
No one would ever notice.
No one would ever know.
Nod.
No.
Yeah, I do remember watching this back in the day. I remember VHS recording it because it was such an event. Like, what? Quick Simpsons math. So
because it was such a religious experience for you, right?
We determined this episode.
Yeah,
so 2. Oh, but it's the back half, so it was probably beginning of 03.
For us, it was probably 03.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, we got things a year later.
And we were still videotaping things.
Yes, VHS stands for not I fucked this line up entirely.
Damn.
I was gonna say VHS in this circumstance means very high Simpsons, but
Nice.
everything
Nice
else
save.
I did was fucking awful.
I don't know,
So,
man.
I'm
You
gonna
had
drink
the
more and say
punchline, but
less. Yep.
you got to get there. You got to get there.
The Penguin says.
Is it? Well, it certainly was for me, having like recorded it on a tape and making a mixtape of Simpsons, mixed VHS tape of Simpsons. Is this an episode you guys have revisited?
Yeah, every now and then.
No, I don't think I have.
Really?
Like, I remember the gags in it, the lines in. I think the whole script of this
True.
one is in my
We may have
everyday
watched it
vocabulary. You know,
so many times in high school that
For
there
real.
was no need to ever
like
revisit
it's
it.
amazing. I know every line from
Yeah,
it. Oh,
I can close my eyes and revisit it.
yeah, but I don't think I've seen it in like 10 years. I'd forgotten the weird disparity between how great the script is and how strange the pacing is.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten how. Maybe it's only overt to me now because I'm in like critic mode after a billion episodes of this.
Well,
Because
yeah,
it's-
because it does feel different to the normal pacing of a Simpsons episode, where, and
Maybe it's just
again, I've got
coming
to say,
from
it's just indicative of television at the time.
Maybe it's just coming from such a great episode. We just did Curse of the Were
Flying
Rabbit.
Hellfish.
Oh man, it was
Which is why
so good.
Maybe, yeah, in later episodes of this podcast, I'll start mixing up the order so we can give episodes a fairer chance.
Well, the different. I mean, like maybe it just really highlights the differences. You know, like the script, I'd still say is beautiful. I would still give the script 10 out of 10. It's just so different.
It's so awkwardly
To the-
paced
yeah.
within. Yeah. It's
Things have changed. I guess things have changed a bunch. 5, 6 seasons.
Absolutely. Well, look, the later 20 season episodes, like, they do go back to a more 3-act structure. I gotta reiterate that this is just Fox at the time. They wanted to fit more commercials in, so
Yeah.
they'd have a short first act, a big second act,
Yeah, I
and
think we were
short
even-
third act, and then mini fourth act.
We were even saying that that first act was like over before like the credits were still
Yeah.
rolling. The opening credits were still
Pretty
going,
much.
and it had closed.
I
It was like-
mean, that
That's how quick
first
it was.
act had like 5 separate events occurring.
Yeah.
That would have been 20 minutes in a real show, you know?
Yeah, sure. And part 2, Homer Smokes part.
Oh.
Ah.
So do you see yourself watching this episode again?
Again, if
Yeah.
I close my eyes. Sure.
Yeah. I don't need to. I can still quote the whole thing. But I think I appreciate it more this time around. Like last time, I think I was thrown off by how strangely choppy it felt.
Sure.
And there was a bunch of quotable lines that just kind of
Yeah.
burrowed in my brain.
First act, you just don't get a feeling of where it's going for a long time.
That's, I think for me, that's the big thing that's indicative of the bad later seasons. The first act being a write-off almost.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this one, I can really see that despite that, the scripts can be amazing.
Yeah,
'cause
they
this-
get there, and once
Oh.
they get there, it's great.
Yeah, but even when they were even though it was choppy, every line was such a tight one-liner or two-line gag. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
And for me, the lines that fell flat on purpose because it was Mr. Burns saying outdated references.
Which is supposed to happen. Yeah, everyone's going to be like,
Yeah. Is this a recommendation for other people though? You know,
it's a tough recommendation.
It
Sorry.
depends why you're recommending. You could be like, hey man, you want to watch something with lots of really great funnies in it? Is different to saying, hey man, this is what The Simpsons is. View this and understand The Simpsons.
It's
Yeah,
not,
this
it's
is
not a
closer-
Rosetta Stone.
It's not. It is not a Rosetta Stone.
It is very stoned though. No, I'd say
Zing.
if this is a recommendation, it's like, you know, you're talking with Homeboy and he's all like, "No, I dropped off The Simpsons season 10," and you're
Oh,
like,
dude.
"Oh man, so you haven't seen the Homer Pod episode?"
It would be one of those ones where if someone had dropped off at that point, I'd be like, no, you have to go back to at least watch this one.
Yeah, this one and the Crown in the Brain episode, great mid-run
Man,
runs.
that was a tight one.
Any jokes that maybe went over your head at the time? Not really.
It was fairly explicit as well. I mean,
Yeah.
they weren't subtle in their nods. I thought Pothede was pretty cute.
Oh,
Yeah.
there was one subtle joke which I got at the time, but I've always loved because my dad complained about it to me at one point. You know, what Marge is like, look, I'm worried about this cannabis. You know, we're all out of cupcakes. We're all out of paper clips, and it's just like only stoners know why. And yeah, I do remember Dad going, God, I can't find any of my paper clips, and I'm like, Yeah, I had nothing to do with that. Don't look in the bathroom cupboard.
You only need more than one.
Yeah, but I'm a stoner, so I keep losing
it.
This was a particularly wacky episode, though.
It's
Homer has a crow friends.
Yeah,
yeah.
wacky is
becomes
right.
the alpha crow. I mean, and then it's
Stitches
the
in the
grounding
eyeball.
is, hey, there's a real controversy over medicinal marijuana. I think it's still illegal in this country, isn't it?
Very.
For medicinal purposes.
One more note on the wacky in the episode. I really hate when representation of pot in comedy makes it the effects look like acid.
Yeah.
But again, the joke kind of brings it back with the smiling razor and he shaves.
And it wasn't a plot point; it was just a
You know?
montage.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
If he had tackled the president because he thought he was a zombie gorilla, that's one thing. If he's just shaving, making himself bleed rainbows, that's different.
Yeah.
It wasn't plot driven.
No. It's joke driven.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this episode didn't have any heart, did it?
No, there's no
No.
point to be like, oh.
No.
There's no audience. Oh.
No valuable life lesson either. There was no point, no valuable life lesson at all. No moral to the show. No pot is good particularly. No pot is bad particularly.
No, it just is and then it isn't.
I do like the moment of Homer's listening to Lisa play a saxophone, and Bart's like, I thought you hated this. Like, well, Daddy's magical medicine, which you must never touch because it will ruin your life. He's like,
Lets him see things that you will never, ever experience.
ever.
And he's eating extra fancy potato chips, we
Yeah.
noticed.
yeah.
Just put that down for
I like
posterity.
that as
Posterity.
that's part of the problem of people approaching marijuana as an idea, is that they see it as it will ruin your life and destroy you if you ever even look at it wrong.
Yeah.
But whereas in the reality is people get stoned, have a good time, and sometimes they forget to vote.
Yeah. And what is it that Bill Hicks said at the start of that Tool song?
Which part?
All your favorite musicians and albums, just burn them because all those guys really high on drugs.
Really.
It's okay, Shag. We're almost done. 3 more questions. Did this feel like a Simpsons episode, Shag?
No.
No.
Yeah, it was a different pace, so I think.
Yeah, the pacing is what really makes it feel like a Simpsons episode.
And
you
even
know?
the jokes, I think, were a little.
Yeah, the
Not
jokes were a little
un-Simpsons,
raunchier,
but they were
like,
a little. Yeah.
Simpsons up late, definitely.
It feels like the writers were like,
definitely.
we're not even sure this episode is going to get to air, so let's just do
Yeah.
whatever we want.
Yeah, there was that sort of writing freedom to it. It felt like a Beavis and Butthead
Yeah.
episode, or
You just said Beavis and Butthole, didn't you?
yeah, I know,
I
right?
love that show.
Oh man,
That was the Triple X parody.
Yeah. Beaver and Butthole.
Wow. How do you get into this industry? Because we just wrote one.
But no, it didn't feel like a Simpsons. Like, I actually think it was closer to a Family Guy episode, personally.
yeah.
To me, kind of even like
didn't
a.
have the same like cuts to it. The same. Remember the time?
Yeah.
That's the Family Guy
But
thing, right?
to me, it felt kind of like almost like a Cheech and Chong. It almost felt like a stoner
Yeah.
comedy unto
Yeah.
itself. It was, when you're like, they call him fingers, but I never see him thing.
and then it's 8 hours
Then
later,
they-
and they're still looking their hands.
Yeah.
But unrealistically, if it was 8 hours later, Fish would have still been playing.
Yeah. But like,
fish
as in, I suppose the jokes drive themselves within each scene. There's no continuity of comedy or
No.
anything like that. Which, I mean, it's not to say it's bad. It's just, I think, in all seriousness, this was one the writers like, we didn't even know if this is going to get to air, so fuck it,
Might
let's
as
just,
well.
whatever we want to put in there is fine. It's completely, which I'm going to bet the original script is probably like 80 pages long.
Yeah, for real.
I bet this has a great deleted scenes.
Oh, man.
Beej, as the selector of this episode, what are you going to rank it?
It's tough. I'm stuck between silver and gold, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Because again, for jokes, it's gold, but for pacing, it's silver. And I feel like I have to go with my gut, and that says silver.
Wow, okay.
It's great fun, but I feel like it just lacks that little bit of extra that would push it onto a gold platform. It's hilarious, and I quote it to death myself. It's just in terms of that. From what we've learned from doing this series, is just when Simpsons is on point and perfect, everything clicks so beautifully, and so you can't even see the
just
scenes.
comparing to the last episode.
Exactly.
I know. It may be just because we came off a cubic zirconium by comparison. This doesn't compare, but I feel like silver is appropriate. It's funny as hell, but its structure and the fact that it's just a kind of has no bearing on the series as a whole.
Sure.
Yeah, puts
I think
it.
I
in
agree, man. Silver, absolutely. Like, if we were judging it on how funny it was, definitely gold. But we're judging it on how it is as a Simpsons episode, and it didn't feel like it.
Fair enough.
Your turn.
Well, I was actually a little different to you guys because I was writing the line between cubic zirconia and gold.
Wow.
Now, see, the third act is what stopped me from making it a zirconia because I'm going with gold, by the way.
I can't say much.
Look, it's not just because I'm biased, but it is because I'm biased. But anyway, no, the third act and its slowing down of the story and then the whole Burns dying and then being a puppet thing, like, it's funny, but it's not cubic zirconia funny.
Yeah, it's amusing.
Yeah, and I could have, like, forgiven the plot for just rushing through it at the start and then just being mostly joke storytelling if that third act was a little stronger, but it wasn't.
Yep.
So,
It's all
yeah,
about how
for
it
me,
ends.
it's a solid gold. It's a very, very funny gold. And yeah, I'm happy with that. So, all right, well, that does it for this segment of the Simpsons Index, and I've got to pick an episode from the 20s for you guys to watch, so I haven't done that yet.
Wait, you're doing a me and you're not picking beforehand?
I know what I'm picking, I just don't know what episode it is.
Okay, well, that's what I do. So way to copy my style.
I mean,
It means I know the episode because I just really want to watch the couch gag. It's the one with the Rick and Morty couch gag,
oh yeah.
because I'd rather watch Rick and Morty than the next episode we're going to watch.
Wow.
We should be doing. We'll get back.
One series at a time.
On to the next one.
Hannah had opening line. No, I forgot what it was. Oh, that's right.
All right, well, we just watched episode 22 of the 26th season called Mathlete's Feet. Now, before we get into the episode proper, how fucking good was that couch gag?
Yeah, no, fair is fair. I'd forgotten which
I'd
episode we were
forgotten,
watching. It
yeah.
was so far back.
It was
seas of crap.
just, yeah.
That was a beautiful couch
Couch
gag.
Gad, Rick and Morty, yeah.
That was-
worked.
That was beautiful.
So awesome. Yeah, it was very long for a couch gag, but look, just to see Rick and Morty and The Simpsons, like, what were you saying before, Shags?
Oh yeah, for Harmon, man, it must be the highlight of his career, the most satisfying feel of recognition. Like when I was saying, Cobain in Nirvana had said, what did he say? He said that he really didn't feel like he'd made it as a band until Weird Al covered his song.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how you know.
That's it, man. That's exactly what it feels like here, you know? This sort of total recognition of Harmon's work. Probably as Rick and Morty, but his community as well.
Yep.
Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet.
All right, and so we all like the couch gag. And then the episode started.
Yeah. That
So look,
shame about that part.
yeah, like, I actually got to say, this, the first half wasn't bad with the jokes, although, who pointed it out that it was, like, explaining to the audience and not to the characters of what the Waldorf concept was?
Yeah.
It felt like it was trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
And, oh my gosh. Just.
Yeah, it was very devoid of jokes.
Yeah, it was weak in its story. I mean, when all of its main concepts, they pause the story in order to tell the audience what this idea, what this thing is.
Yep.
Here's the thing. Let's stop the story so that we make sure the audience knows what the thing is.
Instead of explaining it organically to people who within the, script itself who would not know.
Like,
Yeah, and then, it's starting out from the Mathlete marathon thing where they lost the first time to, at the end, where they go back and, show them what for. And
nice.
that moment wasn't really earned by that point because there wasn't, like, a lot of emotional build-up with
Yeah, there was
Lisa
or a lot of
and her
math
team.
material.
No, actually, it was just like, they're at the Mathletes thing, and then they're at, back at the school, and they have to upgrade everything, so they go digital, and
And then digital wipes everything out because technology will eventually either betray us or fail us.
No, because Skinner forgot to put in surge protectors.
Yeah.
Because power strips
And surge protectors.
That's weak, man. I mean, I feel
Weak
like
sauce.
most power surge protectors are going to have surge protectors in them anyway. But wow, God, what a brief excuse to get to like nature again.
And of
Yeah.
course, Skinner installed all these things, and that's why it's his fault.
Oh yeah, he was going around by hand installing this shit. No need for janitors like groundskeeper Willie, who the third act's about.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, him
IT
becoming
people.
the tutor of the math club, and then him making Bart the captain, and that didn't even serve the story at all. It served one joke of Bart going, "I'm the captain, I didn't think I had to do anything." Wah, wah.
Wow, wow.
Yeah. As for Skinner, by the way, if he's the guy that installed... I mean, the whole act is about them upgrading to, like, top-tier, high technology things.
Yep.
And no one they purchased any of this high technology from or knew how to set it up and install it and get it all running, knew about surge protection or how to deal with... You know what? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
No, but just on that, it would have been quicker just for them to go, look, our school doesn't have the budget to...
It
They
would have
could have
been
cut straight to the
to the Waldorf
to do
thing.
it. We failed this thing. We've done so badly. The government has pulled all funding from
How
us.
can we still
completely.
teach our kids without the technology?
That would have been fine.
Yeah,
But mind you, if
yeah.
you pulled that, you'd pull 5 minutes worth of content from an episode which had a 2-minute intro sequence
5 minutes
and a
worth of
30-second
weak
ending
content.
sequence of nothing.
Oh my
to fill
God.
in time.
And they were doing...
Yeah.
It looked like they were ramping up emotionally again with, like, Willie taking all the credit and Lisa's drunk on Mountain Dew and like, what are you so good for? And then all of a sudden the episode just ends and then it's like, no, it's the Simpsons jug band. And
Yeah, and it's like,
the
no.
whole joke in that 30-second
At the very
sequence
least, you do that bit where, Milhouse is like, let's return to the status quo. The status quo?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. Even,
Yeah.
It's terrible, but
Yeah.
fuck it, it's cohesive.
This thing here really struck me like Lisa's watching a bit about measuring with a rope with knots, which seems weird that she's what, must be like 3rd grade or 2nd grade or something, but
Yeah.
she already knows clearly way more than that about mathematics. She looks out the window, the guy measuring with a string of knots, and she's like, wow, he must be
never seen this
smart
before.
because he's using old technology. And then the rest of the school goes, God, he is the smartest one here. Make him all the teachers.
Let's make him God.
Yeah.
really overvalues groundskeeper Willie as a front-running character.
For real. Then he's in a Gandalf costume for no given reason. Then they're in the maths contest doing like advanced algebra and quadratics and shit. And somehow all their experience with Willie has given them all this abstract.
Yep. It's like, well, you use a rope with knots on it to measure a field. I understand quantum mechanics.
Yeah, now expand this quadratic fraction to m equals x squared, etc. Wow, that was weak math. But the point is, Willie, practical hands-on shit isn't going to prepare you for any of that.
Yeah.
No. And he doesn't actually even really demonstrate, like, his ability to do that. And
To do anything. He counts the knots in the rope.
Yeah, it's pretty much like, if you're grazing 73 head of sheep and it's winter and you're on Northern Ireland and summer is coming, find X.
yeah.
Wow. That
And
really...
look, in the start of this episode as well, not only do they overvalue groundskeeper Willie throughout this episode, but in the start of this episode, they really overvalue Frink. Now, these characters, these side characters like groundskeeper Willie, Professor Frink, and other ones that weren't in this episode, even Chalmers or Sideshow Mel, they can't be overvalued. They're only there to like come in and punch up jokes
They're seasoning.
occasionally.
You don't eat a
Yes.
bowl of salt.
Come on, man. He makes you laugh. He makes you think.
No, but in this episode, for me at least, there's definitely too much of his hoiving, glaving, gov, and div and darvin.
But for like
is
no
just
benefit, it's just
No.
padding.
It is. All right. Well, yeah, we can probably knock this out pretty quickly. Let's get to the questionnaire. I'm assuming you guys haven't seen this episode. Did you at least see the Rick and Morty couch gag on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we watched.
I had.
Yeah. Oh, great couch gag. Look, I covered this the episode Eternal Moonshine of the Simpsons Mind with Shayna and Jordan the other week, where we talked about there's YouTubeable moments in that episode. It's the same again for this one. Just if nothing else, YouTube the couch gag. It's fine. And I do remember watching this for the first time as it aired, and like just being so excited by the couch gag, and it's like, all right, and then you get this as the follow up to it. And I mean, I'd actually love to hear Dan Harmon's thoughts on this episode. That'd just make me so happy.
It'll just be about him.
Yeah, he always finds a way to make it about him, especially on his podcast Harmontown. Okay, now back to Elliot Town. Want to watch this one again?
No. Wait a minute, no.
How about you, Shaq?
I think the first 30 guys got it right, man.
All right, well, I guess we don't recommend this to anyone then.
Well, let's put it this
Couch
way.
gag was good.
Couch gag was good.
I mean, how much we talked about the other episodes, and this one we have so little stakes. There's so little. It's not even. No one thought about this.
Yeah,
Why
they're
are we
not
thinking?
giving us anything to go off. God.
It's other than it's an utter failure in terms
Hey,
of
Pete.
comedy and structure.
if you were gonna write the for Netflix the one sentence plot, what would it be?
Oh, the one sentence plot of this.
Yeah.
Oh, the tweak the synopsis.
Everything fails. Shut up.
Wow.
That's not wrong.
Yeah.
But there you go. That's
All right.
there's an episode for you. Everything fails. Shut up.
Well, look, just to speed this on, how was the wackiness in this episode? Not particularly wacky, like...
It wasn't fun wacky. It was bullshit
No.
wacky.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we can all agree there
Power
wasn't
strip
any
surge
heart.
protectors. Wow.
I mean, what I get out of this episode is I think I kind of get the Waldorf concept, but not really.
Yeah.
So did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Felt like an episode of Ladder Simpsons.
Shag?
I could sort of get the Simpsons-iness from it, but it was just such a weak example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just, yeah, so unstructured and there's nothing to it. It's just like chewing air.
Yeah, I'm not going to even go to the quotable moments or the hashtags because I'm going to go right to the rankings. Look,
My only hashtag is shut up.
I'm not calling it a failure because I didn't actually hate the first half of this. I hated the second half. So I'm going to give it a participant because, like, I can't recall them now, but there were a few moments that made me laugh, at least in the ramping
What's your favorite
up
part of the episode?
Pardon?
What's your favorite part of the episode?
Charmskin Productions.
It's one of those ones where the bits I laughed, I can't tell if I was just so bored any kind of breaking the surface for a gasp of air made me laugh,
Yeah.
or if I was just drunk.
So what are you going to give it?
Failure.
Failure.
Failure with a big F right on the bottom of Bart's report card.
How about you, Shag? Where are you leaning?
For now, I gotta say I haven't seen a worse episode.
You want to take a few minutes, ponder it over?
You know, I really would take a while.
We'll
I mean,
rap for a little bit.
Yeah,
Not literally.
I need
it's rough. Like, off the top of my head, I can't think of a worse episode. I haven't seen a lot of the later seasons.
Mm-hmm. So do you want to call this the ground floor without knowing if there's
that's the
anything
thing. I
below
might
it?
have to come back to this later. For now, I'd say this is a failure. This is as bad as I've seen. This is as bad as I've seen. I call it a failure.
Maybe that's why I'm giving it a participant because I've seen worse.
Oh,
I've seen some
man.
things, man.
That's the look of a man who's seen some shit.
Now I'm excited. You know.
Oh.
To see how much worse this...
How low the barrel goes, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a very deep pit of despair. But, no, I mean, again, if we were able to split the votes, but I can't because I'm bound by the system that I create the rules for, it would be a failure or a failure to participant.
Participhalia sounds much better than what you just
It
said.
sounded like it said pissed in its pants, and that's what it did. This episode pissed itself. All right, cool. Well, that's about wraps it up for episode 7 of the Simpsons Index. And thank you guys for joining us tonight, and thank you for the first 2 episodes.
It's fine. You had beer.
And we're gonna have some more beer.
Woohoo! Beer, bed.
All right, guys. I've been your host, Elliot J. O'Neill.
Whatever I said before.
Joey Joe Shabadoo.
That's the worst name I've ever heard.
Joey Jojo. Very nice. I've been Elliot J. O'Neill. That was the Simpsons Index episode 7, and I'm not tapping out.
Thank you for checking out the Simpsons Index podcast. Don't forget to go to www.thesimpsonsindex.com for the spreadsheet and information about upcoming episodes.
Nod.
Nod.
Nod.